At 3 o'clock in the morning, the tournament ended. I was in like 21st place out of 25. And they said, congratulations, you're going to the World Series of Poker. I was like, what? Hey, old men got game fam. Welcome to Todd Lore number 2. I want to take you all back to 2006 and how I was able to go to Las Vegas for $9.30 for 9 days. Sometime before 2006, I was starting to play a little bit of poker, a little home poker. We play at home, not my house all the time. Other friend's house, we started playing poker. I was like, man, this is kind of fun. We was playing Texas Hold'em. Had a blast. And then sometime around Father's Day, I noticed that I had joined Poker Stars and was already starting to play on Poker Stars. They had a $3.30 buy-in for a World Series of Poker satellite. I didn't know a damn thing about satellites or anything like that. I just thought, okay, this will be cool. Let's play for $3.30. The stipulation was you paid $3.30 and you could buy back for $3 if you got knocked out. At any time, you could do a $3 add-on for $3, So you could triple your chips, basically. So you start out with $1,500. So I could have possibly did the add-on immediately and been at $3,000, but I didn't. Trevor was with me at the time. It was Father's Day weekend. On Saturday, we were going to go to the Kentucky Speedway and watch a NASCAR race. But the tournament started at 6 on Friday night, and I was sitting down playing. Trevor was with me. He watched me play. He knew how to play poker. I guess I would say just from watching me. And we played some too, just for fun, by the way. But we were sitting there. I was sitting there at 6 o'clock at night. We started. This is back when I smoked cigarettes. And I lived next door to a little corner store. And they closed at 9. I realized I was getting low on cigarettes. So I told Trevor, hey, come over here, sit down. Don't do nothing stupid. Please watch my game. You know how to play. I'm going to run over to the store, come back. Well, I went over there at closing time, so the place was packed. It took a little bit longer than I expected to. I get back, and my stack was down to $700. And I just looked at Trevor, and he looked at me. He's like, Dad, I had a really good hand. I didn't knock you out. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We're good. It's all good. I understand. I know you know how to play the game. I get it. So I know I probably did a thing where you just go, you know what, I'm going to go all in on this hand. If I get knocked out, I'll just rebuy, which is what I did. I did get knocked out. I rebought. We made it to the break, and I did an add-on. So now I'm sitting at least 3,000. I think I had probably 4,900 chips at that point because where I did my rebuy, I'd made some more money. I played until, I don't know, probably midnight, and there was 3 of us left, and the game, the tournament just stopped. And it said, congratulations, you can now play in the qualifier for the World Series of Poker. I was like, what? Well, what that meant was the very next round, which was going to be Sunday night, Father's Day, meant if you do well enough in this tournament, you're going to go to the World Series of Poker. So Sunday rolls around, it's Father's Day, and I've got the kids, and the only thing I asked them to do was for Father's Day, leave me alone and be quiet from 6 o'clock on. And they did that. At 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had to be at work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I had the kids, and I had to get them to their moms so they could get to school. The tournament ended. I was in like 21st place out of 25, and they said, congratulations, you're going to the World Series of Poker. I was like, what? That's how I won my seat and my trip to the World Series of Poker. And if you don't know, the World Series of Poker, you have to pay $10,000 out of your own pocket to go play in it. Except Poker Stars fronted me the money because I had played in this tournament and made it. And they gave me $1,000 of spending money to take care of my plane tickets, food. It was cool. So there's your $9.30 of how I got to Vegas for 9 days at the Palms Hotel, which was a brand new casino, by the way. Brand new facility. So I fly out to Vegas. It was I think that was in July. I got my plane tickets, flew out to Vegas, got there. I had really not a lot of money, really, that I had accessible to. So I couldn't get into my room, sat down and played some penny poker slots or penny poker digital games. Came time to get checked in, got up to my room, and I was informed that I needed to go to another room to pick up my PokerStars swag. Let me tell you all something, man. I got so much swag. PokerStars provided me with a travel bag that was packed with a PokerStars basketball jersey, a PokerStars baseball jersey, a PokerStars soccer jersey, a PokerStars hockey jersey, a PokerStars baseball in a clear plastic tube, a 1 ounce 99.9% pure silver card cap. And I'll explain card caps a little bit later if you don't know what they are. No, I'll go ahead and tell you. A card cap is when you're in a hand at a table and you're in the hand. You haven't folded, you're in the hand, you put a card cap on it so that the dealer knows you cannot swipe those cards away thinking that you have folded. I didn't use the PokerStars card cap while I was there. I took my own card cap and it was just a little figurine of Rafiki from Lion King. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. He's sitting down cross-legged and he's got his arms out and he's doing the Om, right? He's meditating. I thought that was a perfect fit for playing poker. Concentrate. My buddy, who I started playing poker with in home games, said, man, I've got some frequent flyer miles built up. I'm going to come out there with you when you get out there. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm not going to be out there alone. And he did. He flew out for the first couple of days. There was a gaming convention going on at the Rio Resort, which is where we played in the World Series of Poker. So we got to go spend a lot of time over there. You're going to see some pictures of some of the good times that we had there. Pillow fights, all kinds of good stuff, man. When I say pillow fights, I'm talking about me with some really attractive young ladies. The good thing about it was there were a lot of professional poker players there amongst the crowd, and you could just walk up to them and talk to them, and it was cool. I got to meet Cloney Gowan. She is a beautiful blonde bombshell. Several pics and autographs from her. Phil Hellmuth, known as the Poker Brat. Chris Ferguson, known as Poker Jesus, Trevor's favorite poker player. He got an autograph, and I told him about my son, about Trevor, and he signed his autograph to Trevor. And then a little bit later on, actually I called Trevor, had him on the phone, walked up to Chris Ferguson, Poker Jesus, and he talked to Trevor on the phone personally. That was cool. Got to meet Mike the Mouth Matisow, one of my favorite poker players. Doyle Brunson, he was the old dude, very old. He almost ran me over on a break in his hover round. The crowd split and I was facing him. He was coming through, almost ran me over. And I made the local newspaper while I was out there. You'll see some pictures of that, a picture of that. So, first night I'm out there, I'm not playing. I'm not playing till the second day. My buddy shows up and he goes, hey, let's go over to the MGM Grand and play some poker. I'm like, yeah, it's fine, but I don't really have any cash, dude. He goes, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $200 and you can repay me if you hit the money, whatever percentage of 200 is out of 10,000. I'm like, yeah, you got it, brother. Well, we went to the MGM Grand. I walked out of there $400 richer. A new poker player. That was fun. That was so much fun. So day one comes around, my day one. There was 4 day ones there. There were so many people in this tournament. It was their largest turnout. It was 8,600 people plus, I think. And in poker, generally your payout is the top 10% of people will get money. So I'm out there for $9.30, and they're going to pay out at least $10,300 and something dollars for the lowest of the top 10%. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we went out. We did that. I won my $400. The next morning, I wake up at 8 o'clock. Didn't start till noon. At 10 o'clock, I went to the Rio and went straight to the bar because I was a nervous wreck. Started drinking. Had to calm my nerves. My buddy showed up after we started. I went in, found my seat, sat down, started playing. My buddy showed up with a digital camera and he snuck inside the ropes. They have ropes around all the area that where all the tables are at. You can't be inside of there. He shows up with his digital camera and pretended to be part of the press. And it worked. So he got some pictures of me. Those are going to be shown below as well. He also got lots of pictures of professional poker players. Those are also going to be shown. They're all the sepia pictures. I did that on purpose because I thought it would look cool. I drank the whole time from 10 a.m. until we stopped. And I will say this, the beer was free. The beer was free. But we didn't finish until 3 a.m. So from 10 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the morning, I didn't stop drinking. I did stop at one point and had a Red Bull. Had a doctor who was sitting two seats to the left of me that says, he looked at me and goes, you probably don't want to get that. Well, I did, and I regretted it. My heart started palpitating. I was like, oh my gosh. And he goes, I told you. Yeah, that was a lesson learned. I've never had one since. So I'm sitting there at 3 a.m., tired, drunk, and I just lay my head back. And somebody was walking through, and they bumped into my head, and it was Annie Duke, a professional poker player. I was like, damn, Annie. Well, I got her autograph because of that. They provided seat cushions for us. So I got her autograph on my seat cushion because I saw her on my way out. I just walked up to her. She was being interviewed, I think. I just walked up to her. I said, you need to sign this for bumping into my head. She obliged. She apologized. Said, I got you. I got back to my room. So 15 hours of poker, y'all. I got back to my room, 3:30 probably, maybe 3:45. My buddy heard me come in and he said, let's go to Binion's. That's in downtown Vegas. I'm like, I'm in Vegas. Let's go. And we went. I won like another $100 at Binion's. But what I didn't know is at the end of the day, so when you're done playing for the day, you put all your chips in a Ziploc baggie that you have to fill out a card with your name, how much chips you have, which I had to have my dealer fill out the number of chips because I could not add, obviously. And I filled out my name. And apparently, when I'm that 15 hours in and been drinking all day, my handwriting is illegible. So everybody back home could not see what my status was in the tournament because it showed up as Mary Teagle, and they were not looking for that name. That was some funny shit right there. On the third day I was out there, because after I played, I had a day off and another day off. So we'll call that my third day. I think it was technically my fourth day. And I don't know if you all know this about me. I'm sure you don't. I'm a huge Kentucky Wildcat basketball fan. Have been my whole life. I don't live too far from Lexington, Kentucky. By the way, the bird flies. Always been a UK fan. And I didn't know this, but while I was out there, that was during the time of the rookie summer league. So I'm at the Palms and I walk in one day. I don't remember. I probably went out to get something to eat. Come in and I'm walking in. I'm going to the elevator. I think I was on the 8th or 9th floor, which is not very high because that place had 20 or 30 some odd floors. But I go walking into my elevator and there's a young black dude, kind of tall, and an older white dude with him. And you could tell they were like together in a sense, and I walked in and I realized it was Rajon Rondo, one of my favorite point guards for Kentucky, who had declared for the draft early to go into the NBA. And I was like, oh my gosh, Rajon. And he looks at me with this face like, who? I'm like, you're Rajon Rondo. I'm a UK fan, dude. And he just looks at me and goes, no, that ain't me. I'm like, no, I know you're Rajon Rondo. He looked back at me, he goes, it's Rajon. And I was like, yes, I want your autograph. But at this time, the elevator's going up and it's going to be on my floor first. And I said, Rajon, can I ride all the way up to your floor so I can get your autograph? He's like, yeah, that's cool. So I've got a picture of what he signed. And I made a shadow box with it. It needs to be redone, but it was the coolest thing in the world for me. I couldn't believe I met Rajon Rondo, who, by the way, went on to be a great point guard in the NBA. Woo! Yeah. Day two, I'm going to call day two as my second time playing. All right, it was my day two of playing because I made it through day one, getting ready to play day two. I did okay. I had a big decision to make. I had a pocket king with a king of diamonds. And of course, there was a raise ahead of me. I just called the raise. I should have re-raised, but I think I made the right decision because when the flop came out, it was 3 diamonds. And I'm like, hell yeah, I've got the king of diamonds with pocket kings. I'm like sitting pretty. Well, this dude sitting across from me shoved all in. He had me covered. I had to sit back and think about, am I ready to go home yet? Do I have the best hand? There's no way he's going to go all in if he's already got the ace of diamond flush. There's no way he's going to go all in with that. And I'm like, well, if he don't have maybe he's got the same flush draw that I've got, but he's got maybe ace, whatever, ace jack, ace queen offsuit with the ace of diamonds. He's not there yet. And I'm like, ooh, I don't want to go out yet. I'm not done. I don't want to go out yet. I'm going to fold. And I showed him my cards. And he stood up and he said, no, he didn't even stand up. He just put his hands on his head and said, oh my God, how did you fold that? And he didn't have to do this, but he showed me his cards. He had pocket aces with the ace of diamonds. I was way behind. The best decision I've ever made playing poker. But a little bit later on, I had a flush draw with the ace high. I went all in. With 2 cards left to come out, I got a call. 4th card, the turn, was not a heart, but the 5th card was a heart. And I doubled up to I think $59,000 in chips. Then on the last day, this was my day 3 of playing. I was out there for 9 days. This was my 3rd day of playing with breaks in between. And I sit down, I get to my table. I've got a professional sitting across from me, and we're playing, and I'm not getting dealt nothing. And we go on break. After 2 hours, we go on break, and we all stand up, and this guy that was sitting, so I had a guy to my right, then the dealer, and another guy to his right. It was the guy to the right of the dealer stood up. He's like, somebody started talking to him. He's like, I'm in a band. And I'm like, oh, really? What band are you in? He goes, Godsmack. I'm like, I've heard of you. I've heard of Godsmack. What instrument do you play? He goes, I'm the lead singer. It was Sully Erna, the lead singer of Godsmack. Got his autograph. Yes, that was cool. But the guy that was sitting across from me, the professional. All right, I'm gonna back up a little bit. So we're so far into this tournament that we're right there to where they don't know where to stop the top 10%. I'm in that vicinity of the top 10%. So what they do is every table will play their hand out and stop. Okay, so the people that get knocked out, they can say, yeah, you didn't make it. You're not in the top 10%. Then every table would start it again. And you do the same thing until your hand was done, and you had to wait for every table to be done. Then they would go again. That's how they could keep track of it. Who was in the top 10%? So this dude, the professional that was sitting across from me, went into bully mode when he knew we got into round for round. He was raising everything. Raising every hand. Everybody was folding. Everybody would fold to him, including me. And I'm sitting on the big blind, and he raises. And I'm getting low on chips at this point. I look down, and I'm holding the ace-jack offsuit. I said, I'm all in. He looks at his chips, and he made the right call. He's like, yeah, I can afford to call this, right? I can afford to call this. I flip over my cards. He flips over his cards. He's got queen 5 offsuit, and I've got the ace-jack offsuit. Put a pause in there because and the flop comes out. Now, I want you all to know that me going all in caused my dealer to yell, we got an all in. Here comes the ESPN cameras. They're heading to our table. I'm like, run it, please. So he did. And the flop was queen, ace. Dude sitting over there now with trip queens. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. Okay, well, I hit my ace. The next card was a jack. I'm looking at 2 pairs. He's sitting over looking at trip queens, and if a jack hits, he wins. If an ace hits, I win. So he goes, give me a deuce to the dealer, and the dealer turned over a deuce. And that was the end of my tournament. So in all the years before that, they had what was called the bubble boy. Whoever was the last person before the cutoff got a free seat the next year. The year I played, they had what was called the bubble tournament. So if you were in the top 11 people before the cutoff, you got to play in a one table tournament against each other for your seat. And I passed it up. I was 3 people away from making $10,000 something, maybe even more than that if I'd have continued to win. Yeah, 2006 World Series of Poker. I was so ready to go home. It was the most stressful thing in my life, but I wouldn't trade it in. I would do it again in a heart. Thank you all for listening to this long Todd Lore video. Love you guys. Peace out.